Audio Jungle.
Hello and welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzerillo with Impact Business Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight the great work our local businesses are doing. And that we are highlighting the great work being done by our businesses in the county and the Greater Reston area. If you take a second to subscribe and like so that we can notify you of all these wonderful conversations that we're having. And if you're interested in being on the show, just let me know. So first we'll go to our next guest, who was really excited to be on the show. I mean, he was knocking at the door saying, Ange, when can I come on? I've been in my role now for 2 months and I need to share everything that we're doing. So Mr. Ray Billings, the president and CEO of DATA, Dulles Area Transportation Association, which of course is a mouthful, but Ray, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Angela. It's so nice to be here. I was promised I'd be on this show within 2 weeks of being hired, and it's 2 months. So that's why I've been knocking on your door.
When Luke first contacted me, I think he was copying you and you didn't even start yet. And these messages are getting kicked back to me. I was like, did you really hire this guy? Like, what's happening? Anyway, well, I'm glad you're finally here, Ray. It's good to see you and I'm excited to have this conversation.
Likewise,
you guys are doing some great things.
It's so nice to be here.
Yes.
Yes. The expectations as I took this job were pretty high and they've all been met. So
yes. You are. And yeah, you're meeting them on a daily basis. Listen, you've got a lot of great people already. You've done a lot of great work. So that's kind of why we're here to talk about the wonderful things that you're doing. And, for us, it's an awareness, right? I hate saying like you're the best kept secret, but when people are not aware of the programs and the services that are out there that you provide, that's the value of this in this conversation.
And that's been the trick coming to Northern Virginia and trying to learn the lexicon associated with transportation services and what DATA is. DATA is an acronym and everyone here speaks in letters, not full words. So the learning curve for acronyms and the avalanche that I've had thrown at me has been steep, but I'm getting through it. And DATA is an acronym for Dulles Area Transportation Association. We will address that during my tenure because
you heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
We are not a data mining company, and we are not a data warehouse. But what we are really a tale of two different sides. We have a professional services side, which this organization was born out of 30 years ago, and transportation consulting and professional services in the transportation space is something we do and do it well every day and have been doing it, like I said, for 30 years. What we've only been doing for about 8 years is the human services side. The human services side is near to and dear to me, and it's kind of the reason that I took this job is because the board, my predecessor, and the staff all want to see that side grow. And there's significant opportunity for the human services side to grow. And so I'm anxious to help that along, and I come from human services, and so I think I've got a pretty good idea of how to take this, especially the human services side, to the next level. So
yeah, and I know that's your background too. You come from that side, so that's big. But for a lot of people, probably don't even know both sides. So let's just share kind of really quickly what are the programs and services, and then we'll get into the value to the human services side.
Yeah, so on the professional services side, we're Fairfax County TDM, again, another acronym, de facto organization, and along with that come some responsibilities and some privileges. And my predecessor is a true transportation professional, and he's amazing. On the human services side, we have these programs that target elderly, disabled, veterans, and underserved communities with transportation resources. If you need a ride to the doctor, if you need a ride to the grocery store, we set up volunteer organizations to provide those rides for you. We work with a number of different nonprofits in both Fairfax County and Loudoun County to make sure that those essential services are met. What I'd like to do is to continue, obviously, along that path, but I'd also like to introduce some non-essential services to the underserved. It's great and essential, if you will, to get to your doctor's appointment, to get your groceries, but the non-essential services connect you with community. And when I say non-essential services, taking a cohort of elderly or disabled to the theater or to the ball game or to something that is just less essential and more fun
Life, yeah.
is part of what I hope to bring to the table as well.
So the programs for the that you do with corporations. So I know that there's part of that, right? So as employees that you provide services for, is there certain size companies that it makes sense for?
No, I mean so we work closely with the Reston Chamber and their members, and we provide free consultation on transportation and commuter benefit services. If your company doesn't offer a commuter benefits package with their benefits that they offer, then we can come in, consult on what the value is, first of all, and then on how to introduce that to your employees so that your employees use these benefits and use them well. So we work with every size company on commuter benefits packages and commuter benefits literacy and transportation programs that support those benefits.
Yeah, that and like I said, it's awareness. So the employees may not be aware of it, but the organizations, HR types of businesses, they're not either. With all of the transportation that we have and all of the investments that's been made, obviously it's something that you guys can help companies leverage. So not to get political, because I don't want to have a political conversation, although we can. But there's so much going on with the administration right now. So I kind of have to ask, like, how are you responding to it? But yeah, in a sense, how are you guys taking all that in, for the programming that you're providing and some of the changes you're looking to make? I mean, is it impacting you guys at all?
Yeah, well,
kind of.
We see the impact with the companies that we work with. And so the current administration's back to work edict really caused some uncertainty and a lot of noise amongst most of the corporations along the Dulles Corridor, and especially the ones that we work with. We created these guidelines and kind of a booklet, if you will, on best practices to getting your employees who haven't been in the office for a number of years back to work, and doing it through sustainable transportation solutions, not necessarily just jump in your car and come, because that's not a solution. That's a means to an end.
Right.
So we try to provide solutions that are good for the environment, good for the company, and good for the employees. The jumping in your car seems like the easy way to get to work, and perhaps it is, but with that come a lot of frustrations, and we're trying to alleviate that for the employees. And if we can give the employers the toolkit to provide to their employees, we think that we can resolve a lot of those frustrations.
Absolutely. I've had a couple conversations just this week alone with people that are going back to work and, oh yeah, I'm just going to jump in my car and get parking down in DC, right? And not be in traffic. And yeah, no. And the frustration immediately, it was experienced day one. So yeah, public transportation is definitely something that they're looking into. And you mentioned the Reston Chamber earlier. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Are there some programs or partnerships that you're working on?
Yeah, well, first of all, we took up office space here.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And because we wanted to be close to not only the chamber, but specifically Charles. Charles is a force, and he's on our board. He is close to all of obviously his member organizations, but his member organizations in large part are in our sweet spot. And so through him, we've been introduced to a number of organizations that need our services. So he's been a great advocate. And now that we're here in his office, he kind of can't hide from us. So
both ways, actually. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got to get the name on the door as well. And I know you always say your door's open, which you mean it, which is true. You kind of pass by, and you're looking for these partnerships, but exactly. What is it that you're doing? The other great thing too about the chamber, and this and you've seen this, is like the different service providers that we have, right? And the relationships. Right. I mean, I'm assuming you can't do this all on your own. I know you have a wonderful board.
No, and we do. We have a strong board, and yet we are always looking for strategic partners, because we're much better if our services are aligned with other people's services, and we can reach out to a broader audience. So we're constantly looking for strategic partners, and Charles is a huge help in that area, along with a number of other board members. But because Charles is right here and his membership group is so deep that it's a natural for us.
And the chamber is a natural connector. We do a great job of that. So any kind of introductions that you're looking to make, and the great thing too is being creative, thinking outside the box. So it can't be the way it's always been done. So anyway, we can structure those connections, to build a better data if we keep it as
exactly.
data. Yeah. So like I said, I'm really excited to share what you guys are doing. And I know there'll be some information on the chamber. You guys recently wrote a blog. I know that that's on the chamber.
It is.
Website, and we'll make sure that we share that information too with the group. So yeah, anything else that you may want to share that we didn't discuss already? I know we can talk all day.
The only other thing is that, again, back to the current administration, and not to get too deep, but I call it the shock and awe administration. And right now there's a ton of noise, and it's pretty shocking, and it provides a lot of uncertainty. There's this back to work edict, but in parallel with that, there's federal workforce is being let go by the thousands. And so you have an administration telling everybody that's got to go back to work. But then when they get back to work, what's in jeopardy is their job. And so that has caused a tremendous amount of what I call transportation turbulence. We're working with organizations specifically on how to navigate that. On the human services side, with the elderly and the retired veterans and the underserved, they're hearing all this noise, and they're wondering what it means to them. And so our assurances and our reach really to those communities is never been more important, because we can allay some of their fears and provide them with the services that are still ongoing, that are strong, and that will continue to serve them.
Yeah, fear can be, people just then won't do anything,
That's right. They freeze.
There you go. Again, another conversation. So when people were talking about about clients and what's happening with biz dev or even contract, the typical contracts, people are in fear. So there's uncertainty. So what do? You don't act, right? So you don't do anything. So,
exactly. So
anyway, again, we can help or work together to get the word out. That'd be great. And then, we certainly will do that.
Great. Well, Angela, thanks so very much. And we will continue to work together very closely.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I look forward to hearing about the name change before, if there is such a one. No, I like it. I mean, again, it's really about, maybe you have more of what you actually impact, because people just are not aware. It really is just about an awareness. But I like also the human services side, and that's your background. So yeah, share 2 seconds on your background. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
No, I come out of elder services. So
okay, you get it. Yeah.
And somewhat underserved communities. And I'm learning a lot right now about the disabled community here in Northern Virginia. I have some experience with the Special Olympics, and Council on Aging is a national organization, which I've been very involved with for 15 years. So I know these groups pretty well, and I'm new to Northern Virginia, so I'm really excited to get to know these communities here in Northern Virginia, and to help serve them, because these communities are only getting bigger. A stat I read last week that in 2025, which is the year we're in right now, obviously, there will be more 60-year-old and older than there will be 19-year-olds and younger.
Yeah, yeah. And
so, and that delta is going to just grow. So, and the need for services is going to grow right along with it. So, it's a good time to be here, and a good time to really help out the residents here in Northern Virginia and make an impact.
I didn't hear much of the New England twang, but every now and again I kind of heard it.
Every once in a while it comes out. Yes.
Yeah, I get that too myself. Every now and again, that New Yorker, I just can't contain it. But I love what your background is, human services. Doug did a great job, like you said, the professional services side and developing data. So kind of incorporating the two, I think it's going to be a beautiful match. And yeah, every time I'm in the chamber, don't worry, if you're there, I'll be knocking on your door. So yes, I invite anyone who comes by the chamber for a lead share meeting or committee meeting or council meeting, or if you're just at 1886 Metro Center Drive, stop off at Suite 150 and say hello to Mr. Billings, the new CEO and president of the DATA, Dulles Area Transportation Association. Association.
Thank you, Angela.
All right. Well, good to see you. I'll see you soon, Ray.
You will.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.
We look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Stay in touch with us for future episodes. Like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.